Hello, my name is Dr. Darbrow, and I'm a professor of mathematics and statistics at Shawnee State University. Along with my colleagues, Ms. Heather WAUGH, also from Shawnee State University, Mrs. Tiffany Allen from Minford High School, Mrs. Jessica Fairley from Hillsborough High School, Mrs. Ruth Hopkins from St. Joseph High School, Mr. Ralph Jonas from Eastern High School, and Mr. Stephen SEIDEL from New Boston High School. We will be your teachers for your Principles of Statistics class this year. Since you'll spend a lot of time over the next year listening to videos prepared by each of us, we want you to know us a little better, so your teachers have prepared short narratives on their education background, hobbies, and interest. First up is me. I earned my bachelor's degree from Morehead State University and my master's and PhD from the University of Kentucky. I enjoy golf, scuba diving, and traveling. Along with my wife Tanya, we have 3 children, Kyle, Sadie, and Bailey. And I may add, Sadie and Bailey were both adopted from China in 2005 and 2006. Ms. WAUGH earned her bachelor's degree from Shawnee State University and her master's from New Mexico State. She is an avid runner and enjoys reading. Ms. WAUGH has competed in many marathons, including 6 half marathons, 7 full marathons, and a 50K ultra marathon. Mrs. Allen earned her bachelor's degree from Ohio University and her master's from Western Governors University. She enjoys photography, creative writing, cooking, and scrapbooking. Mrs. Allen and her husband are lifelong residents of Scioto County, and she is a graduate of Wheelersburg High School, where she was valedictorian of her class. Mrs. Fairley earned her bachelor's degree from Shawnee State University and her master's from Ohio University. She enjoys camping, sewing, and traveling. Along with her husband and 2 dogs, she lives in Bainbridge, and Mrs. Fairley and her husband are expecting their first child soon. Mrs. Fairley has traveled twice to China, once to do her student teaching, and a second time simply to visit. Mrs. Hopkins received her bachelor's degree from Belmont University and is currently working on her master's in mathematics at Shawnee State University. She enjoys quilting, reading, and traveling. She and her husband have 3 children, a yellow lab, and 2 cats. 2 of her children are in college, while 1 is still in high school. Mr. Jonas received his bachelor's and master's degrees from Ohio University. In his free time, Mr. Jonas enjoys strategy games. After teaching middle school math for 4 years, he has taught high school math for the last 7 years. Finally, Mr. SEIDEL has a bachelor's from Ohio University and enjoys playing his guitar, hunting, fishing, and spending time with family and friends. He also enjoys coaching and watching sports. He and his wife Vanessa have been married for 10 years and have a beautiful daughter, Lakin, who is 2.5. Now, the presentation of this class will be rather unique in that it will be delivered in what we call a flipped classroom approach. Now, the concept of flipped classrooms is really complex, but I've decided to try to simplify it and explain it in 60 seconds or less. So guys, wish me luck. First, let's think about the flipped classroom in contrast to a traditional class. In a traditional class, students first get exposure to a topic or topics inside the classroom via direct instruction from their teacher. For example, if you think about it, the first time you were exposed to Pythagorean's theorem, it was most likely in a classroom presented to you by your teacher. In a flipped classroom approach, the first exposure to a new concept, such as Pythagorean's theorem, happens before the class meets, usually by watching a couple of videos. After watching the videos, students come to class and work on applying the topics they viewed in the videos, focusing on key topics. They interact with their peers and instructor during class time, working on assignments and activities. The cycle of flipped learning completes when students examine and improve on the topics they found difficult, confusing, or interesting. Just like in the traditional class, streaming throughout the entire process is a focus on key concepts that students are expected to know or be able to do. So in less than 60 seconds, I've presented to you the idea of a flipped classroom approach. So unlike what you may have first thought, flipping a classroom doesn't mean we're going to ask you to flip upside down and sit on the ceiling. It simply means we're going to ask you to watch a few videos before coming to class. And once you get into class, we want you to be prepared to work on the topics in collaboration with your peers and via direct assistance from your teacher. Hopefully the effects of a flipped classroom is everyone is involved while learning in class and everyone is having fun, which hopefully leads to less of this. I know I speak for all of my colleagues when I say how excited we are about this opportunity. We look forward to working with you throughout the year so you can learn more about statistics.